Okay guys, so first things first, what you'll need to bleach your closure, your frontal, whatever you're working with for the day, is your developer. I'm using 30 volume just because that's what I have, but you could definitely use a 40 if you want to do it pretty quickly. I also have my rich eggplant dye, which I'll show you all how I use that to help with the tint. And then your bleach, everyone knows BW2 is a classic. Some sort of brush to mix it all together with, gloves, and your mixing bowl. And then obviously your I'm doing a closure today, but your frontal, and then some foil or whatever you're working with. Alright guys, so first things first, I'm gonna put on my gloves just to make sure, honey, that we don't mess up these nails. You feel me? You feel me? Oh, alright, so now that that's taken care of, I'm taking my BW2 bleach, and I start off with the entire pack. Probably if this is your first time doing it, I would say just use a little bit at a time, just to kind of gauge, but I already know like how much I'll need. So if you're using like a larger container, then I probably would start off with 2 scoops and then add as you see fit. So next you want to take your cream developer. Like I showed you earlier, I'm using 30 volume. If you have a different one, obviously the higher you go, the quicker it's going to take. So I just pour a little bit to begin, and I'm just gonna mix it up lightly because obviously it's powder, so it can get everywhere and you don't want to be inhaling this stuff. So just mix, mix, mix. And I can already see that it's getting a little bit dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more developer, and you just add a little bit at a time. Mix it really well, and then until you get the consistency you need, which I really like the analogy of the consistency of cake batter. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit thicker, but not as dry as it was earlier. So we're mixing, 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 mixing. So keep in mind, I am bleaching a closure today, so I don't need as much product as you probably, I would highly recommend. Obviously you need more than this if you were doing something like a frontal where you're trying to cover a larger amount of space, but keep that in mind. I'm just doing a closure today. So this is a pretty good consistency. Like when I put it on the brush, it's not like it's stiff enough where it's not running off, but it's still like not hard or thick. It's very flexible and movable, as you can tell. So that's a pretty good consistency. Okay, so now at this point, once it's all mixed, the bleaching powder and the developer is mixed really well, that's when I like to take my purple dye. This is in the shade Rich Eggplant, and I just take about a dime, even less than smaller than a dime size, about that much. And I've noticed that this really helps get rid of that brassy, like ugly yellow color. So all you need is literally like smaller than a dime size. Okay, so note on my closure, I've pulled back all of the hairs, make sure that they're out of the way. So I'm gonna take my mixture here and I'm gonna lightly press into the closure. Now keep in mind, this is the extra strength bleach. So if this is your first time doing it, just get the regular, guys, so you don't have to worry about like trying to hurry up and get it out the way. Just get the regular, and I'm lightly, like literally lightly dabbing it onto the closure. And I really want to focus, so this is actually a middle part closure. I'm really focusing it on that center portion to ensure that when I part my hair there, it looks as natural as possible. So I'm just gonna go all the way around. is completely covered. I'm gonna flip it over and just make sure that it didn't go through, and if it did on any of my hair, I just wipe it with a damp paper towel. So next, I'm just going to top this off with the foil, and I let it go for about 20 minutes at first, and then check it, and then I go in 10-minute increments after that to see how it's bleaching. Alrighty guys, so it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna do a check, because again, we're working with the extreme or the extra strength bleach, so I just want to make sure we're not over bleaching. So I just check to see, kind of sift through and see what we're working with, and I still see a few little knots, so I'm gonna continue letting it bleach. I'm gonna stay for about 10 more minutes and check it again. Alrighty guys, so it's been about 25-28 minutes or so, and in efforts to not over bleach, my part looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this with some lukewarm water. There you have it guys, your knots are nice and bleached on your closure. Tell me that does not look like scalp. So what I'll do from here is go ahead and pluck the front of my closure, make it look a bit more natural in the front, and get ready for installation. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.